There's something about the words you say. I hear them when you're not around. And there's something about that look in your eyes and your voice's sound. Well, we can leave this town, pretend that that's the problem. And we can live without all we can live without. And then you tell me someday it's alright with me. I'm always the last one to notice. You're always the first one.
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
1420 Sports Bar Podcast, Yankees Week in Review. Listen in throughout the baseball season as we will go over the week that was for the New York Yankees. We'll talk about what went right, what went wrong this week, this day in Yankees history, Yankees birthdays, and predictions of what the Bronx Bombers record will be at the end of the upcoming week. It's 1420 Yankees Week in Review, the Yankee Tavern North, brought to you by SeatGeek. So put on your pinstripes, grab a beer, and let's get in. All right, I sit down here in the Yankee Tavern North during the All-Star break of 2023 on this July the 11th, 2023. Today's show is brought to you by SeatGeek.com, the SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420pod at SeatGeek.com today and save yourself $20 on your first purchase of everything but Yankee tickets. I wouldn't pay to watch this. I wouldn't pay a penny to watch those guys right now. But anyways, go to SeatGeek.com, use their app. And also, we are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Go to bellyupsports.com and check out all their great podcasts and articles throughout the Belly Up Media Network, including Craft Brewed Sports and the Captain Lou Extravaganza and the Corner Booth podcast as well. Thanks you to Belly Up Media for letting us be a part of their group here at 1420 World Headquarters. Otherwise known once a week as the Yankee Tavern North. Give my weekly Yankee Week in Review coming up right here. Sitting at 49 and 42. You think that a Yankee fan or a baseball fan would be happy, but at the break, the mighty New York Yankees are currently out of a playoff spot, not even in a expanded playoff wild card spot right now. The mighty New York Yankees are one measly game up on what was supposed to be a very weak Boston Red Sox team. Now they're one game up on them, and everybody's kind of laughing at the Yankees on that. This team with a payroll of $280 million, $213 more million than the Baltimore Orioles, and $204 million more than the first place Tampa Bay Rays, and that's just in the American League East. The Yankees are in a heap of trouble. The big, bad Bronx Bombers, supposed to have superstars up and down the lineup, supposed World Series contenders year in, year out, supposed to have all kinds of championship aspirations, I guess is the proper word. Everything's supposed to be going right for the New York Yankees week in, week out, and it's not. This team that was supposed to contend for not just one championship, as Mr. Cashman likes to say, he's saying, well, we hope to win a championship. It used to be championships or bust. Now it might be a championship. A team that really hasn't done a damn thing since 2017. A team that hasn't really accomplished much accomplished anything under the tenure of Mr. Aaron Boone. This team is absolutely not living up to expectations, and you can only blame it on a couple of guys. 2017, this team was the baby Bombers that were coming out with Aaron Judge. You had Didi Gregorius. You had the likes of Gary Sanchez. You had a great team of guys that were there for each other, played hard, played to win. They added some veteran guys up and down the lineup. He had a team that was playing for each other and had a chance to win a World Series. They decided to go a different route, got rid of Joe Girardi because Gary Sanchez got butthurt over some comments that Girardi made, and now you have Sanchez. I don't think he's in the league anymore. He's on 4 different teams this season. But anyways, you have a Yankees team right now that hasn't done a damn thing. They were close, I guess, in some people's eyes in 2019 until Aroldis Chapman gave up that tater to who knows if he was cheating back then. the Houston Astros and Jose Altuve Jr. or Jose Altuve, I guess, whatever his name is. Let's call him Jr. because he's short. But everything else has gone wrong with the Yankees. They stuck with their team. They stuck together. They kept everything together this year, even after going. They started off the season gangbusters in 2022. They really thought they were going to win 130 games, and then they ended up going 500 after the All-Star break, and then got swept aside basically by they did get swept aside by the mighty Houston Astros. So it's not even close right now. What's going on with this Yankees franchise? It's an absolute disaster. I don't know what the idea is, but then what they do to fix all of the problems and tell the fan base that they are close, they go out and they fire the hitting coach, because that's supposed to just solve all the problems. They're going to stay the course and everything else, but we're going to fire the hitting coach, and that's going to solve all the problems organizationally, everything else. This team is absolutely struggling. So they go out and they sign a podcast host. He's also a Major League Baseball network guy, and Sean Casey, who's never had the job as a hitting coach before. So that's what they do. They go and hire a guy who played for the Cincinnati Reds with Aaron Boone. So that's going to solve all the problems in Yankee land, and that's going to just make sure that everything's going to be just tickety-boo. This hiring, I do not understand what this hiring is possibly going to do to the Yankee fans and how to appease the Yankee fan through and through, because the Yankee fans are smarter than that, I would hope. There's some that aren't. They just the 28 championships and everything else. But this hiring doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. It's a scapegoat of a move by Cashman and by Boone to say, you know what, it's not our fault, but we're trying to do something here. We're going to make the announcement after our last game, so we'll have all the attention diverted from us saying we're trying something here. We're trying something, Yankees fans. This isn't something we normally do, is firing any members of our coaching staff in the regular season. We don't do this. We stick with our team. We stick with the family, and we stay the course. And that is an absolute freaking disgrace. I do not understand why Cashman and why the Yankees and why the Steinbrenners believe that they're pulling the wool over the Yankee fans' eyes. I do not understand why that they would sign a guy who's only going to be there. He's not even signed for the rest of the season afterwards. He's there for the last 60 whatever games that are left of the season. So this guy's just here because he's a good guy. He's got a nice attitude. He's going to bring up the morale in the dressing room, in the locker room that's down and everything else. He's going to teach everybody how to hit baseballs. He's going to change the entire organization fundamentally, structurally, everything else. He's going to decide, you know what, the long ball thing that we talked about for years and years and the analytics that we practice don't work anymore. This Sean Casey guy, like I said, a podcast host, he might be a great guy. He might do great things, but right now it looks like a really bad hire right now, and it's a scapegoat move by Cashman, and whether Boone was behind any of it is a different situation. I do not know the ins and outs, but I do know that Aaron Boone is one of the only managers in baseball right now who doesn't get a say in who his coaching staff is. It's all done organizationally. It's all done analytically. It's all done that way. Boone hasn't had a say once in any of his guys who they are, because he's such a puppet, and it's come to fruition that people have been saying it for a long time. I didn't want to believe it at first, but Boone is the problem. Boone is a puppet to this Cashman regime, and it's an absolute disgrace to Yankee fans who pay good money week in, week out, day in, day out to go and watch this team. It's a team that was supposed to do well. It was a team that was supposed to challenge for championships. It's a team that is wasting the contract of Garrett Cole. Cole's been having an unbelievable season. I do not know why this is happening week in, week out. I do not know year in, year out why Cashman and the Steinbrenners stick with this plan that obviously isn't working. I do not get it for the life of me. I do not understand why the Cashman family or the Boone or the Steinbrenner family doesn't see that Aaron Boone is the problem. This guy, I am so sick and tired of him saying things. Well, if we stay the course, this guy's close, that guy's doing all right. And then for him to make the statements on Sunday about Gleyber Torres and his errors, he's him saying that Gleyber Torres, well, I don't see why you guys think he's making a ton of errors. I don't see it. He's made 12 errors this year, and he's the exact problem why the Yankees are in the spot that they're in. He is the reason this team is coddled. They're babied through in, through out. But for Boone to not, I'm sorry, a little revved up today, but for Boone to not see this, and for Cashman to not see this, I don't understand why this team expects anything different from these same guys year in, year out. When is this going to change at all in Yankee land? When is this going to be a situation where Cashman and the Steinbrenners finally say, you know what, maybe we were wrong. Maybe we were wrong about all our organizational thoughts throughout the years. Maybe it was wrong about what's going on with how we thought analytics would be. Maybe our analytics guys aren't that good. Is it going to take something that would be the most drastic thing ever, which I don't think will ever happen. Is it going to take the accountants to finally tell Steinbrenner, hey, you know what? There's people not showing up. There's not people buying your $18 fucking beers. There's not people buying your stupid chicken buckets for $22 or whatever they are. The place isn't full. People aren't buying the hats because this team absolutely stinks. This team hasn't done anything unexpectedly since 2017 with that baby Bombers team. This Yankees team is flawed and it's broken organizationally right throughout. You got guys who don't care. You got guys who can't hit. You got guys who are just there. You just automatically put on a Yankee jersey, you get paid, and that's it. And that's what this team has become. And they've been that way for a while, but finally took something stupid to fire a hitting coach and think all our problems are going to be just magically taken away. And this Sean Casey is going to have some sort of magical serum to all of a sudden make Giancarlo Stanton decide to maybe go the other way and not try to hit the ball 500 feet. Maybe and Stanton's not going to strike out 400 times. Maybe this Sean Casey guy has some magical formula in his tickle trunk of podcast tricks that's going to have freaking the president of Josh Donaldson fan club, Josh Donaldson, have a situation where, you know what, maybe I will get a base hit instead of swinging for the fence every time, and I'll have 14 hits all season, 10 of them home runs, non-consequential home runs. Is this Sean Casey going to be able to do that? Is this Sean Casey got some aging formula or anti-aging formula like Caldera Labs that's going to sprinkle it all over DJ LeMahieu's bat to say, you know what? I'm going to have quicker bat speed. I'm not nearly as old as we expected him to be. Is he going to change Anthony Rizzo's swing path? Rizzo's nose is in the freaking iPad the second he gets to the bench after striking out or grounding out how many times? This is not the problem with the Yankee lineup. The problem that you have is the roster construction that was put together by Cashman, and it's a yes man like Boone that allowed these guys to get where they're at. It's an absolute disgrace where this team is at. I do not understand why people don't see it. I do not understand why Yankee fans continue to go to that stadium and cheer this team on and everything else. It does not make sense to me that you have a group of men that cannot play professional baseball at the level they're supposed to. I understand that Aaron Judge is out. He ain't coming back, folks. He's not coming back this season. If he's not, it's July the 11th now. If you think he's coming back at the 1st of August, you're mistaken. He might get some spot duty come September, but that'll be it. He ain't coming back. So Judge isn't coming through the door. They don't have any trade equity because they leave the guys in the minors, and so no one can see what they can actually do. They have a team here that's an absolute disaster that was put together by Cashman and held together by Band-Aids by Aaron Boone, who's a yes man and should never have been allowed. This goes way back 2017 when they fired Girardi and they went with Boone. And you know what? What makes me crazy about this hiring of Sean Casey, the podcast guy, and Sean Casey, the TV guy? They tried this hiring a TV guy before without any Major League Baseball experience, and look what turned out. Look how this turned out with Aaron Boone and with now you got Sean Casey because he's a good guy with good morale and he'll bring the attitude around. These are professional baseball players. They're grown men. They shouldn't need motivation. Those paychecks enough. The fans in the stands and everything should be motivation enough to do well. These guys just don't have it. They've been coddled. They've been babied. They've been everything else. This team is not good enough. I've been saying it for a long time. Since they got Giancarlo Stanton, this team was not going to do anything. And I've been right 100%. The organization, the way it's structured, is a bunch of guys who can hit home runs once in a while, and that's it. Their on-base percentage, they have the top 5, I think, in home runs hit, but the bottom 25 of OPS. So you know what? You know what you got? You got a whole bunch of solo home runs, and you know what you got? You lose games 3-2. You lose games 4-2. You lose games 4-1. So now you have a situation where you lose 2 out of 3, the lowly Chicago Cubs, who you have to beat. It does not make sense that a team with a $280 million payroll has zero hope of making the playoffs. Zero with a Z. They are not making the playoffs. Or is it a Z for people down in the States? I don't even know. This team is not making the playoffs. They are so far behind Tampa. They aren't catching Baltimore. So now all you can do is maybe get a wild card spot. Toronto's playing better baseball right now. Texas is going to drop out of their wild card spot because the Houston Astros are a better baseball team. The New York Yankees are not making the playoffs. Mark my words. And nothing is going to change in Yankee land because of one man and one man alone, maybe two, Brian Cashman and Steinbrenner, because they have Cashman has his puppet in place with Aaron Boone, and this team is an absolute freaking disgrace. I do not see how they do not get it. Just spending a bunch of money does not solve the problems. It hasn't solved the problems before. It's not gonna solve the problems now. And a little secret here, folks: the hitting guy isn't the only problem. It's the pitching coach. It's the nerds. It's the analytics guys. It's the bat boy. Let's get rid of him too. Let's clean the house. Get a real baseball guy in there. Get a real person in there who knows the game of baseball, has a bit of feel for the game, and doesn't have a freaking binder. Yes, all teams use it. I know all teams use analytics, but this Yankees team, it's an awful, disgraceful team, and they need to change things fundamentally, organizationally, and the like. It's not going to get better. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets better, Yankee fans. Mark my words. They just are not good. This fan base is too smart. This fan base knows too much about what's going on around this team. It's an absolute disgusting disgrace for a once proud franchise that hasn't done a thing since 2017. And that's a long time ago now. That is a very long time ago. And they stumbled onto that team. And they stumbled into that because they had a team that actually cared. They had a bunch of kids who played hard. They had a bunch of kids who weren't making a bunch of money back then. And they went for it and they gave it a shot. They haven't done a damn thing since 2019. They got kind of close. But you look at last year, that 2022 team, they got destroyed by the Houston Astros. I've forgiven them, but I'll never forget that. And they did that clean last year. The Astros just absolutely demolished the Yankees with their pitching because you know what? The Yankees strike out too much. There it is. Whoopity-doo. The Yankees strike out too much. I just solved it here at the Yankee Tavern North. That is a problem with the New York Yankees. The problem the Yankees have is they strike out too much. There, I figured it out for you, Cashman. I figured it out for you, and now it's your job to go and straighten it out and figure it out for Yankee fans right across North America and the world because they're sick of it. I'm sick of it. It's my friend Scott Norton, who's sick of it, and he sent me a message the other day that was actually just quite enlightening about the New York Yankees. And I quote Scott Norland, friend of the show, longtime friend and longtime Yankee fan. He goes, "Oh, so the big brass finally realized we have a hitting problem. I'm sure there'll be someone who will be much better hitting coach who's been sitting around doing nothing, waiting for the call." Fuck, it's simple. Try not hitting home runs every time. Jesus, they're the worst situational hitting strategies in the league. And that is 100% true. And that comes from Scott Norland. Scott will be talking later about this, I'm sure. You'll give me a call later on when this is all said and done. I'm revved up. I can't believe the All-Star game. They have one guy in the lineup, basically, and then Judge is out and everything. This team used to be filled with All-Stars up and down the lineup. They have a $280 million lineup with nothing there. Nothing there. When IKF is one of your best guys, a guy that I was clamoring with my friend of the show, Jim Plotner of the Fan of the Van, we were talking about IKF's got to go. He's their best freaking player right now. IKF is your best player right now. Rizzo can't hit. You don't know what you're getting out of Gleyber Torres. You don't know what you're getting out of Volpe, who has been better. And Volpe's hitting problems were solved by a guy eating chicken parm, for Christ's sakes. Like, it's unbelievable how a hitting coach has been the scapegoat for this. And then Boone still sits there with a job. If you don't cut the head off the snake, if you don't get rid of the actual problem, the same problems will keep occurring. That is the problem with this Yankee team. Aaron Boone is at the head of the organization, just underneath Cashman. So if those two guys are allowed to continue doing what they're doing, it's not going to change. This team is an absolute disgrace. Until they get rid of Boone, until they get rid of Cashman, it ain't changing. It ain't changing. And until Steinbrenner starts listening to his accountants, because people are going to stop showing up, I guarantee you that. People will stop showing up in Yankee land if this crap continues. They won't stand for it. They just won't. They went into this season with Josh Donaldson, the president of Josh Donaldson fan club, at third base. Disaster that's been. Then they went out with no left fielder. They had Hicks. Everybody knew that was going to turn into a wreck, and it did. They weren't sure what they're getting with Volpe. They're not getting anything from the catcher position, which we knew. And then you had to know that Judge was going to get hurt because he didn't last year, and he gets hurt every year. Last year he betted himself. This year he didn't, and look what happened. And Judge ain't coming back, like I said. Judge is not playing any important games the remainder of this season. Mark my words. I don't know. It's an absolute joke. I don't get it. This team stinks. This team isn't going anywhere. It gets worse every damn year since 2017. Hopes aren't even high anymore. You know this team's not making the playoffs. You know you're just watching games now to go out the stretch. And the stretch run should start in September. The stretch run's right now for this Yankee team. This stretch run is right now for this Yankee team, and they don't have it. They were so great last year up until the All-Star break, and they've been horseshit ever since. That's right. They've been horseshit ever since. It's a bullshit team with a bullshit general manager and a bullshit manager at the helm. And now they got a bullshit hitting coach to solve all the problems in the world. Some podcast host who played for the Reds back in the 90s. Sean Casey might be a hell of a guy. He might be a hell of a broadcast guy. He might be great on Major League Baseball TV, but who knows what he's going to do as a hitting coach, a guy who's never had a job before, same as Boone didn't have the job as a manager before. And look how that's turned out for Yankee fans. Look how that's turned out, Cashman. It's been a horseshit decision year after year after year, and this is on you 100%. Will I stop cheering? No. Will I keep being mad? Yeah, this team's a joke, but that's just one of those things. I don't know. Until this culture changes around that team, it ain't going to change. DiMaggio's not coming through that door. Thurman Munson's not coming through that door. Don Mattingly's not coming through that door. Jeter, Rivera, CC Sabathia, who changed the team culture in 2009 when he came, he ain't coming through that door either. This team's a joke. It's an absolute farce. Aaron Boone shouldn't be allowed to be anywhere near a microphone. The guy's an absolute idiot when it comes to baseball, and it's a farce. And I personally had enough of it. I don't understand. I do not understand why people put up with that crap on a nightly basis. I'm glad I've been busy with my own baseball all summer long so far, and haven't been able to watch this disaster of a baseball team, a quasi baseball team at best. The way that they perform on a nightly basis, it's an absolute joke. But anyways, there's my rant for the day about the New York Yankees. I'm sure I'll be wrong coming a week from now, but who knows? And I'll jump back in the bandwagon. But here's a little word from our friends from SeatGeek.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like Boomstick Lady. No free throw is safe from the roar of her sticks. SeatGeek helps her find a seat in the direct eye line of the shooter so she can sit where her boomsticks make the biggest boom. Everybody okay? SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
Anyways, the Yankee birthday, pretty slim pickings in the birthday world in Yankee land, but happy birthday to, didn't know this guy existed, Johnny Barbado. Johnny Barbado appeared in 13 games for the Yankees in 2016, a team that overachieved. Wasn't that bad, actually going 1-2 with a 7.62 ERA in 13 innings. Barbado pitched, was born in Miami, Florida, was drafted in the 6th round by San Diego of the 2010 Major League Draft. I probably saw him pitch in my 2016 trip out to the Bronx. So one of my last ones, I went out there by myself. But yeah, 2016, Johnny Barbado. Happy birthday to Yankee legend Johnny Barbado, born on this day in 1992. There's a going down in the deep depths of despair when Johnny Barbado, that's how bad things are in not Yankee land when Johnny Barbado's the happy birthday guy. And anyways, on this day in 1999, the New York Yankees beat the New York Mets 6-3 at Shea Stadium in Flushing, Queens, in front of 53,689 people. Hideki Irabu outdueled Oral Hershiser. There's some names from the past you probably didn't think you'd hear today to get his 6th win of the season. Tino, the great Bam Tino Martinez, went 3 for 4, and Ricky Lede went 1 for 2, including a 3-run home run in the 4th off Hershiser. Mariano Rivera picked up his 23rd save of the season as the Yankees improved their record to 52-34 on the season. A far cry to what their 49-42 record is right now. Anyways, not a good week in Yankee land. Things aren't looking too good. You never know how things might turn around after the break. I don't have a whole bunch of hope what's going to go on with them. They should have had a better week last week. You got to take 2 or 3 from the Cubs. You got to take 2 or 3 from everybody from here on in. Basically, at minimum, you want to start winning series. Series matter a lot when it comes to the game of baseball. You don't want to be losing 2 or 3 because winning 2 or 3 is always better. It's just simple math, folks. But anyways, they before we do the Yankee broadcast again, the Yankee week in review, they have 4 games versus the Colorado Rockies and then 3 games in Anaheim. The Suns, Mike Trout, Anaheim Angels. So who knows who that's going to turn out. I think that they should win 6 out of 7, but I know that they won't. Their record should be 55-43 the next time we do this Yankee week in review. But in true Aaron Boone fashion, I think their record will be 52-46 the next time we reconvene. So that's my thoughts right now in Yankee baseball. Don't have much hope. I'm going to keep cheering for the Bronx Bombers, everything else, but I don't have much hope for this team until they get rid of Boone, until they get rid of Cashman. I think this is an absolute wreck. It isn't going well, and I don't see it improving anytime soon. I don't know if Sean Casey has that magical formula and the good guy and everything else that he might be to bring a positive winning attitude to the Yankee locker room, but I don't see it. I don't see it one bit. Anyways, there's the Yankee Week in Review for this week ending All-Star Tuesday, this week ending on the 11th day of July 2023. Make sure you guys check out all the great shows on Belly Up at bellyupsports.com and all the great articles. And remember to check out friends of the show, the fan of the van, big Yankee fan. He was revved up last night as well. I listened to his podcast on the way home last night. Make sure you check out the Fan of the Van podcast along with Bruliana Sports and who else we got out there? There's lots. I don't know why. I always try to get them. I always forget for some reason. Level the Playing Fields are our Jays fans out in Ontario. There's another one with our friends Level the Playing Field. I got to get Dave on here so you can laugh at me and we can laugh at each other about how the two seasons are going with the Toronto Blue Jays and the New York Yankees. Anyways, there's the Yankee Week in Review. Make sure you guys go to SeatGeek.com, SeatGeek app, and use promo code 1420pod at SeatGeek.com today and save yourself $20 on your first purchase. And remember, everybody, doesn't matter where you are, it's who you're with. Have a good week, folks. We'll talk to you again next week.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. But it's the peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back. Oh, it's root for the whole team. They don't win, it's a shame. Now it's 1, 2, 3 strikes. You're out at the old ball Now let's root for the whole team. If they don't win, it's a shame. Now it's 1, 2, 3 strikes. You're out at the old ball game. Oh, what a game!
A message from Major League Baseball.
You just listened to the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. 4 beer with sports talk and a whole lot more. We are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Let's get into it.